Everybody, it's Deanna. I'm not feeling at 100% today, so I don't have as much energy as I usually do with my videos. But I did want to speak about a certain topic. But before I get into that, I had a doctor's appointment today, and I found out today that my doctor is moving out of the area, so they'll assign me to a new one when that time comes. I want to miss her. It was great working with her. She's been a good doctor. And I got vaccinated today, so my arm is very sore. So that's contributing to me not being at 100%. And also, I was told by my doctor that I have to eat bland foods this weekend. La vida no es justa. Oh, anyway. So today's topic. Talkers wear me out. Oh my goodness. Oh my God. I was the unfortunate captive audience to a lot of talkers this week. And I find that talkers, they're not listening for an answer. They're not talking to have a conversation. They're talking to hear themselves talk. They're talking to fill a void. They are talking because it's a nervous habit and they cannot help it. They do not like the Depeche Mode song goes, enjoy the silence. Like, oh, I can't put my arm up because my arm hurts. It's like, I'm a little teapot. Anyway. I can't put both my hands on my hips. It sucks. Anyway, it's like they're moths to a flame. When they see me being quiet, sitting out to myself, minding my business, it's, hi, how are you doing? Lord have mercy. My job held a gathering a few days ago, and it was not the best of weather for it. And this is the fourth one they've held since I've worked there, and the third one I attended. The first one I participated a lot more. I was doing the games, and I won a prize, The second one, I did videos and photos, and I didn't participate in any of the games. Well, actually, I did one. Yeah, I did one. But last year, I instead took a few days off that week. I think I took half of that week off. And instead of, while they were going to the picnic, I went to the Rebel Museum. And that's kind of stuff I like to do. I'm not into that matching t-shirts, extroverted energy, and all that excitement. I'm more quiet, I'm more subdued. When I was a kid, I was very loud and very outgoing. I talked to strangers. Oh, you're wearing the same outfit as me. Hi, how you doing? But when I got older, I became more reserved and more subdued and more quiet, more contemplative, and I don't like spending my energy on those who are hell-bent on misunderstanding me. And I tend to open up more when I feel there's a connection, when I feel I'm being heard, when I feel I'm being listened to. And that's why I tend to be more quiet in life. And when I'm in the office, or when I'm in these professional situations, I can't be as outspoken as I am when I'm off the clock, or when I'm in a more casual environment, or when I'm walking on the sidewalk and I'm not trying to engage people. So I tend to hold stuff in. But this year I ended up going, and as I said, the weather was not the best. The park was beautiful though, where it was held. Very beautiful, very lovely space, and I would love to go again on my own time. And I felt that because I get overwhelmed. I get overwhelmed by noise. I get overwhelmed by crowds. And I feel like the talkers see me off to myself and they want to start chit-chatting with me about stuff. And 9 times out of 10, they're not waiting for an answer. When I start to answer, it's yeah, 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 yeah. That's why I don't like talking at the time, because people aren't listening to me. Or I constantly have to repeat myself in situations because people aren't listening to a damn thing I'm saying. Last week I had to return something to a store. It was expensive. I wanted my money back, and then it didn't work, and I wanted my money back. And this young lady kept asking me all these questions. Well, what about it? Why didn't it work? What about it didn't work? And then it was something I had to connect to Bluetooth, and I did disconnect it. I did disconnect it, and I said that. But she said, "You didn't disconnect it?" I said, "I did disconnect it." This young woman was not listening to a daggone thing I was saying. I did get my refund though. Thank God. Thank the universe, because I'm not spending all that money on something that doesn't work. And I ended up finding a cheaper thing at a different store, which does work much better. Go figure, right? The cheaper thing works better. Anyway, what was I saying? I felt that a lot of people, another thing is, I don't reveal much about myself at work. They're a very open book crowd, where I'm more of a closed book, but willing to open it to the right person. And but work, I tend to keep things close to my chest. I don't reveal too much personal about me, even though I know a lot of personal stuff about other people, because, as I said, they're very extroverted. They're open books. They like to tell all their business. I like to keep my business close at hand. Even though it seems like I'm revealing a lot of stuff in these videos, I'm not. There's a lot that I'm never going to reveal in these videos. There's a lot that I'm going to take to the grave. There's a lot that I will never reveal about myself publicly. And I remember this was maybe last year, and there's someone who worked on a different floor, who worked for a different company, and we were in the elevator together, and she asked me to select her floor, and I was about to, and she selected herself. And then she commented on the mask. I was wearing a Diop mask, a face mask. Diop, D-I-O-P. They had these really cute face masks, really beautiful patterns, beautiful colors. And she complimented my mask. I was about to say thank you, but she's just still talking about something else. She didn't listen for my response. She just wanted to talk, to hear herself talk. And I felt I got hit with a lot of talkers this week, and I was so overwhelmed. And I can't tell people at work, I don't feel like talking right now. I tell people when I'm off the clock, I don't feel like talking. A few years ago, this was maybe 5 years ago, maybe, there's a woman who was holding up the bus with nonsense. She had a transfer. They don't give these out anymore. These are paper transfers. And I assume it expired. Well, gee, it was working a few minutes ago. I don't know what could happen with it. And the driver sat there for 10 minutes. Because some drivers just like, knowing it's a bunch of BS, they just let them on the bus. Whatever, man. And then he finally just told her to sit down, and he started driving off. And the woman wanted to talk to me. I'm thinking, you held the bus up with a bunch of BS, and then you want to have a conversation with me. Hi, how you doing? I said, I don't feel like talking. And she got quiet. I didn't apologize. I didn't stutter. I said, I don't feel like talking. Because I find that me pretending to be interested in what someone's saying when I'm not interested is ruder than me being direct and saying, I don't feel like talking. You're not going to hold up the bus with nonsense when I'm tired and want to go home, and then try to have a conversation with me. No, not happening, lady. There is a movie, a really good movie, called The Brother from Another Planet. It's a John Sayles movie, and it stars Joe Morton as the titular character. And that's how I feel going through life. How this his character is mute. He doesn't speak. I don't know if he's incapable of speaking or he chooses not to. But the character is mute, and Joe Morton does an amazing job using gestures and body language to portray everything that this character was to portray. So Joe Morton's character is playing an alien from another planet who is on the run from these two white alien bounty hunters. And he lands in New York, and everyone and their mother, they see him being quiet. So they all want to talk to him. They all want to share their deepest secrets and their private, intimate thoughts with him because he is a captive audience. He cannot speak. He cannot say, I'm not interested in talking. Leave me alone. Don't bother me. He is incapable of doing that. But he seems curious and he seems interested in listening to what these people have to say. But in my situation, I don't feel like listening half the time because you're not having a conversation with me. You want to hear yourself talk. You don't care about anything I have to say because you're not giving me a chance to respond. And I'm not one of those people who responds very quickly. It takes me a second, especially when I'm daydreaming or I'm listening to my music, it takes me a second to get into listening mode. I need to pause what I'm listening to or turn my headphones off temporarily. I need to turn around and actively look at the person talking to me. Some of them just start talking in the back of my head. And then they get mad because I don't respond if they're talking in the back of my head. I don't know if you're talking, I wasn't where you're talking to me because you never got my attention first. You're just like, I have a question, you know. And why does quietness bother people so much? I never understood that. As I said earlier, loud people and talkers, extroverts, why are you so quiet? They can do that and no one sees that as rude. But if we were to tell them, why are you so loud? Why do you talk so much? We're the rude ones. Why does quietness bother people so much? And people try to project their insecurities about needing noise and needing to fill the void of chatter and physicality and all these things. And they project their insecurities onto us. Are you lonely? Oh, you're so quiet. You're sitting there by yourself. Are you okay? You look sad. You look depressed. You look angry. All these projections. I tend to have a very serious look on my face. My neutral expression is very serious. It's resting bitch face. And people mistake me for being mean, nasty, rude, all because of my facial expression. A lot of times I'm lost in thought. A lot of times I'm not even paying attention to what this person's saying. But from that minute glance, they think that I'm a bitch, that I'm mean, I'm rude. And another thing about being a Black introvert is that people stereotype Black people as being loud and outgoing, the life of the party, sassy, sister girlfriend, especially Black women, etc., comedians, whatnot, that we're entertaining. This will be entertaining for people, entertaining for white people. And they don't see our full humanity. They don't see the full spectrum of who we are. And we get limited to these ridiculous stereotypes. My quietness bothers no one. My quietness bothers you for some reason. And you think I'm lonely. You think that something is going on with me. Yes, something is going on with me, but it has nothing to do with your projections about me. Your judgments about me. Nothing to do with your judgments about me. I can deal with a lot of stuff in life. But what you think is going on with me is not what's going on with me. My quietness is self-preservation. My quietness helps me to calm my thoughts. Listening to music. When I was at that office gathering a few days ago and it was raining. Yeah, it was not the best weather for a gathering. I digress. I pulled my camera to take video of the rain. I see these tiny raindrops falling, but I'm reviewing my video and there's just so much chatter going on that I can't hear the rain. And that's why I need to get up for a few times and walk around and be by myself, because I don't like feeling confined. I don't like feeling obligated to do things. I like being on my own agenda. I like being to myself. And I mentioned my video about Jaja's African hair braiding last year. I had mentioned how people assume I'm lonely because I'm by myself. I say I'm more lonely when I'm around people because I don't connect with a lot of people. And it has to be that really special connection for me to open up and to not keep things inside. It takes a lot. And I have opened myself up to people in the past who ended up being jerks. So that's why I tend to be more stoic and more guarded and more closed off, because that's self-preservation. And my quietness, it helps me to be centered. It helps me to be grounded. It helps me to find some inner peace. I meditate daily. On average, depending on the time, I can meditate up to a half hour. I do the think up meditations where I record affirmations in my own voice. I'm listening to my own voice saying these affirmations. I do the Fitbit meditations. There aren't too many on there compared to, I also do Insight Timer ones. There aren't too many Fitbit ones compared to Insight Timer, but I do all three daily. And I like being alone. I come from a large family, and they don't see me at family gatherings at the time because I'm more of a one-on-one person. I get overwhelmed between people, and I prefer meeting people, one or two people at a time. I don't like, when I was younger, I did used to be this life of the party. I did want the attention. I did want the validation, but I don't want that mess anymore. I don't need that mess anymore. And I'd rather be with a smaller group of people, because I'd rather have only a few friends who get me and who listen, who understand, and we can vibe and communicate and we get each other. I'd rather have a few friends who are genuine and true versus 200 friends who don't know a daggone thing about me and who don't care to know a daggone thing about me. And that's why I wear headphones, because the music also helps me too. Oh my God, I love so many different genres of music. Oh, especially from the 80s. Especially from the 80s. I love that. And now that I have wireless headphones, it makes a world of difference. I used to have wired headphones. I still use the wired ones at home, but out in public, the wireless ones are so convenient. I don't have to worry about it becoming unclipped from my phone. And usually it holds a signal pretty well too. Holds pretty good signal. But my music has saved me so many times. Yeah. I wish that people who are extroverted and people who talked a lot would take the time to pause and to contemplate more. And it would be such an easier world if more people did that. If you have liked this video and you want to hear more from me, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Take care, folks. Have a good night. Enjoy the silence.